Oh, hello everyone, welcome back to our podcast. Today we will discuss Golden Wind episode 36, which is titled Diavolo Surfaces. And I am Zippermom, you all know me from my memes and shitposts, and now it's time for the rest of our group to introduce themselves.
I am
Hello,
Avi.
uh, uh, hello. I'm Kyo, and I'm the creator of Kyo no Fukatsu and Kyo no Fukatsu Advanced on Webtoon.
Hello, my name is Reatard, and I'm just a YouTuber.
Alright then, I've got the first question for you all. It's basically the same like we had last time. So on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being like extremely bad and 10 being extremely good, how would you rate episode 36?
Okay, I think I'll give it a 7. I mean, it was alright. I can't rate any JoJo episode like less than 5, but there were some, there were a lot of dirt.
I think I would rate it 8 because, as every JoJo episode, the art is really good, and I think it is one of those episodes where not a lot of action happens and more of explanations and stuff, more of Requiem.
7.
Can you explain why you would go with 7?
No. I'm never good with numbers, assigning them.
Yeah, I would probably go with 6 or 7 as well, because animation wise, this episode was like average. We got lots of derp faces, rank faces. I feel like David Production is saving their money for the final episodes, or they spent so much money on the previous episodes that they ran out of money and can't probably animate stuff anymore. But I think they're going to fix it on the Blu-rays.
Yeah, like Blu-ray is gonna fix that all.
I think also some of the dirt faces were dirt because it was a faraway shot, but most of them were dirt because just because of David Productions.
I want to see more. I feel like Spice Girl has been neglected in the animation department. Not a lot of interesting visual work is going on with that.
Yeah, and I personally feel like this episode is not really that important because, so do you guys think they are saving their money for the end game, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were.
Because
Yeah,
if you
that's
maybe
probably
remember,
it.
like episode 3 and 4, I think had also some bad animation and derp faces.
Yeah, and also the episode before 7-page mood as well.
Yeah, I think we're going back for a short bit, but I think for the 7-page Muda they hired a team to completely animate that scene.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Oh
that
god.
information is correct, but I heard it from different sources, and I heard that they hired an entire new team just to animate the scene.
I remember seeing that like in the end credits someone had said that there was a whole section dedicated just for that and crediting names.
Yeah, so would you also agree on that this episode is not that important? Two major events happen, but
I think the most important part was probably finding out that Diavolo's soul was inside Mista. But other than that, I think everything you could have watched the next episode, and it wouldn't really matter if you skipped this one. I think there was still some important parts.
I
You would
mean,
miss.
I wouldn't say it's too not important. It just pains me to call anything in JoJo bad. It's just I like it that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the better question is it bad compared to what precedent has been set before? What it has been in the past? What is possible?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of worse, but I mean, it's kind of neglected.
Yeah, I also checked the information, and apparently they adapted 6 manga chapters this episode. And
It's quite a lot.
they usually do like 3 to 4, so they had to put a lot of content in this episode.
I think it was also because they were trying to cram as much as they could, so they could do the finale arc with the last 2 episodes, so you could get a lot of meat in the episode.
Well, first episodes in anime, they too included about 4 or 5 chapters, and only recent episodes were like 2 or 3 because the intensity and
Yeah. I feel as though when an important episode is like coming, they try to the episode before they try and put as much information that isn't as important. So then midway between the next episode, they can put in like the big part, like a 7-page Muda or Bruno fight.
Yeah, maybe they're going with less chapters next episode, but we don't know until the episode is actually aired. But I could like imagine that they go for 2 to 3 chapters next episode.
Yeah.
Because I kind of know what's gonna happen, but because since we have anime only like participants and viewers, I'm not gonna talk about it. But I could imagine that they like stretch out the next scenes because they are very important. And
oh yeah, right. Just remembered that.
It's also interesting how it seems like each part has gone on. The fights have become smaller in a way. Like with Dio versus Jotaro, there's like so many episodes. And this one, it seemed, and like part 4, it seemed like there wasn't as much. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's interesting.
yeah, like part 5 is a bit different from the end fight. There is no really like an ending fight with like Jono versus Diavolo. I don't know how to put it, but like part 5 has a very confusing ending and confusing fight. I can remember when I read part 5 for the first time, and back in the days there were only the bad translations. You might have seen them somewhere on the internet.
Yeah.
But like back then, that was like the only way to read part 5, and I was like so confused at the ending. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
A lot of people say that part 5 is the most misunderstood part, just because of that reason alone.
But I
Because
mean,
of-
really, how does King Crimson work?
Oh,
Well, think of it like animation. Think of it, you have key animation. You have beginning of you have the end of emotion and the beginning of emotion. The beginning and the end of emotion. All of the things in between that get erased. And the end result is only there.
Oh wait, are we really talking about how King Crimson works?
No, the conversation has ended.
Yeah, I mean,
I have ended it.
we're nearly at the end of part 5. We shouldn't discuss how King Crimson works.
it's a bit too late for that.
Yeah, but I feel like the anime made it more understandable.
Yeah,
Like-
especially
Yeah, in
Because
this
it's
episode.
especially
Yeah, you could
medium
also see
of
it.
motion.
Yeah, like for example in this episode when like Diavolo turned into Mister, you could see him actually using time skip to dodge the bullets.
it's kind of like the world in a way, where it like kind of teleports around. The way I see it is the world and King Crimson kind of go in their own dimension and then come back out. It's kind of like that.
While the world is based around time, King Crimson is based around motion and action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more based around fate. Like I read it, and a lot of people don't realize that part 5 is like literally all about fate.
Yeah, it also
You
plays
mean-
a major role at the end, but yeah, I'm not gonna spoil
You mean-
anything.
You mean the part that has the villain that's constantly talking about his fate and his past and everything? You think
No,
that might be
well-
you think that might be a major like theme of the part?
Yeah, but that Yeah, so I was saying, like, Fate, I'm just going back on to how King Crimson works, and I'm not gonna go on about that.
But there's actually one thing I want to know from the anime only viewers. When King Crimson was introduced, did you immediately understood how King Crimson works?
No, I took some time to understand how it worked. Especially, I think they explained it pretty well. It's just that it took a bit more time for me to understand.
I
It's
mean,
something you have to see in action.
Yeah,
I wasn't really thinking about it. I only I saw what was happening. I kind of understood that, and then I went onto forums to understand what the hell is going on.
Yeah, because I'm watching with an anime only guy, and we kind of memed him that a stand is going to appear, which is like very confusing. And when they showed King Crimson, he immediately understood how it works, and he was like asking us, "Why the fuck don't you understand how King Crimson works? It's quite simple." He was like explaining it to us, and we were like, "What the fuck? You just watched the episode, like."
I
But
think
it
I
gets
just instead of just figuring out how it works, I just kind of accepted it.
Yeah, but I
yeah,
think
that
at this point King Crimson's like more for me, because in the bad translations which had even Comic Sans, they did not explain how it works. It was like very confusing. The translation was like bad, like Google Translate bad. And
I mean,
so
it's
it
kind of
became some kind of meme because nobody could like understand how the power works.
I think
it's kind
the
of
reason
understandable at first, but it gets more confusing because like his power get more and more like expanded
Develop.
towards the end.
I think also when in a Metallica fight, it gets kind of a bit confusing because then there's like the bullets going through him and stuff, and it's just yeah.
I couldn't understand the other part of.
Oh, the bullet part. The bullet part. It's because King Crimson worked on the bullets themselves. The beginning being inside the gun, and then the end being inside Risotto.
Oh,
There was no bullet in between where Doppio's body is. There's only the beginning and the end. There was no in between motion.
okay, that makes more sense.
Things that confused me the most, like I kind of heard that he couldn't attack in erased time or whatever, and like I was really confused. How does Trish's hand get cut off, or how does Narancha get impaled? Like
I
I really
think
couldn't understand
I
that.
think it's because you see that in the Bruno fight. He like moves behind Bruno, and then he goes back into the real world and cuts his shoulder.
Yeah, but he
So he
couldn't.
can't.
You can
But
take
he
other
couldn't.
things. You can take
Yeah.
other things into the erased time world. Like he showed, and whenever you first see his ability, he shows Bruno himself in motion. No, not at the end. He shows in motion Bruno, in result Bruno.
Yeah.
Okay, that kind of makes sense too.
Yeah, but we should try to go back to the episode again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to talk about is Doppio's death, because I feel like it was way too short in both the manga and the anime, and I would like to know, would you like wanted them to expand upon his death? Because for those of you who haven't read the manga, in the manga it's like basically in the same chapter when Avenger dies, and it's like 5 panels at the end of the chapter where Doppio dies as well. So both deaths are like in the same chapter in the manga.
I think it's because this death or this episode opened up with a death. Most deaths like at the end of the episode, like Bruno's or midway, like Abakio's or something.
I kind of felt weird about that. Like I was waiting for that in the last episode. I don't know. It would kind of make sense for it to be there, but his talk, like, "Boss, you are in that body. You are going to win." It kind of adds some tension to it. So maybe that was a good choice.
One thing I also found interesting is how because you see the dog and the man swapping bodies and the baby and the woman. It's funny how the dog swapped with the man and the man was barking, but then when Polnareff swapped with the turtle could talk. It's pretty funny.
Oh yeah,
It's
right.
because the turtle is a stand user,
Oh, Iraqi forgot.
Coco Jumbo. It's because Coco Jumbo is a stand user.
Oh. Oh yeah, that does make sense because a dog. I doubt the dog was a stand user as well.
Iggy was sentient enough to have a conversation within their
Yeah,
own
but
head.
he was like, yeah, he was, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
It has more. I've seen from what I've seen, stand user animals have more personality and sentience as
Intelligent.
opposed intelligence. Yes, flawless.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Also-
what does the rest think about Doppio stuff? Like again?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it was. I don't know. I wanted to feel sad. No, I did feel sad, I guess. But with the fact that he killed Abakio and stuff, I don't know. I couldn't really feel any remorse or something.
He was just following orders,
Yeah.
and I don't think
I
it was
mean-
that was Doppio.
Yeah, like that's
The
still
eyes
like.
didn't look like Doppio.
Yeah.
I mean, only Diavolo wanted to do that, but I mean, I did feel kind of sad and haven't talked about that tension that his death in the beginning of the episode, but I always loved like the voice actor's job and like how they mix Bruno and Dopey as well. It just sounds really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially with I really liked Narantia and Jonas because like Jonas' voice actor extended endings of like the words that he said, so it sounded kind of like Narantia.
Oh, like he'll trail off.
Yeah.
Oh, while we're talking about voice actors, like it sounds so weird hearing like everybody's like minds swapped and or bodies or whatever, and they're talking so differently, especially like Bruno.
Yeah,
I can't
like
sometimes understand like is this Bruno's voice character or is it actually like Diavolo? Wait.
yeah, I think it's especially disturbing with Doppio and Bruno's voice. Because you can still hear that like the Bruno voice the voice actor is doing. But
Yeah.
I also read some comments in my underneath my videos that some people thought that Doppio just passed out and he didn't die, and some anime only viewers were like,
No.
wait, did he really die? I also read it on Reddit that like some anime only viewers thought that he was just passing out, and they didn't even realize that he died.
I think the anime.
Take nap.
I think the anime did it better than the manga though, because
yeah, especially with the like you can see how like his spirit is like leaving the body.
yeah, and also the blood is like there's more blood coming out of him, and just I think it's really good how they did it.
Yeah,
Especially with
it was kind of obvious as soon as those like little particles showed up on his body.
I like how Mom, when creating the comparison videos, she kind of gives us a cheat sheet for what to discuss, like a way to catch up on the very distinct differences, so we can discuss here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a short advertisement. If you're comfortable with it, I do comparison videos, and you can check them out on my channel, everyone.
Flawless.
And yeah.
Advertising yourself on your own channel.
Yeah, I'm just mentioning it, so if anyone in the chat wants to discuss with us at the same time. And right in time I did the comparison video today. We're recording this on a Saturday, so don't be confused when this like gets released on Sunday or Monday and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? So yeah, and in the manga you could only see like Bruno's body, and it didn't even feel like Doppio was inside.
Yeah, but I think because of the voice actors and yeah, I think it was way better.
Yeah.
But I feel like the voice actor for Bruno and Doppio both talked at the end. I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, they
but
said
Yeah,
they said
yeah,
both.
yeah, I
said
couldn't
both at the same
really
time.
detect it. I wasn't really sure if they spoke at the same time. But it
Subtle
was
sound
like, it
mixing.
was kind of like adorable how he was like, "Come, boss, call me like you always do, please." Like he was like asking for him.
She's kind of like a dog.
Oh,
Yeah, but like also
No.
they left out like 2 lines in the anime. I noticed while I worked on
I
the
think
comparison, because in the manga he also says stuff like you said to me that you had to leave the body and like defeat them, and Doppio was like yeah, I understand that you have to leave.
I think it was also good because as bad as Doppio is and like he killed back and stuff, it just makes you hate Diavolo more because he abandoned a part of himself, which pretty much did all the things for him.
I think it's very
Which-
interesting, just Doppio's relationship with his own life.
Yeah,
I mean, he still doesn't realize that he's like he has 2 personalities.
it seems like it's just him, and then when he talks with Diavolo, is just it seems like an actual phone. It's pretty interesting.
I mean,
Yeah, maybe
he,
the phone is also some kind of statistic device that like Diavolo has like finally accepted like that he has to move on. Because beforehand Doppio would always use something which is clearly not a phone, such as an ice cream cone, or I know he used the children phone on the plane, but
Yeah, and also something I found interesting while looking at some old JoJo things and stuff in the old episodes is that people have been saying that the Shadow Boss it looks weird because Diavolo has long hair, right? And the Shadow Boss has like this little hair thing on his head that doesn't really look like Diavolo's long hair.
yeah, but we
And if you look,
also have to keep in mind that like part 5 the manga started in 1995, and I think it ended in 1997, 1998, or 1999.
yeah,
Like I think it was 1999. And like it's highly possible that Araki didn't knew how Diavolo was gonna look at the end,
because you can see that.
yeah,
You can see that
because
with
in the manga, La Squadra was also like when they appeared on in their arc, they were also like shadowed, like the boss was. So
yeah.
it's highly possible that he spent like 3 years thinking how he's gonna make him look like, and he rejected some ideas.
But
I mean,
it's cool how in the anime the lighting of his hair is purple. So I was thinking maybe that could be Doppio.
Yeah, like also you could easily find out that the boss has pink hair, because like early in the anime we see Trish, and Trish is introduced as the daughter of the boss. So
Yeah,
there were early on there were some anime only viewers who like where the boss definitely has to have pink hair because Trish has pink hair and she's his daughter.
yeah.
But remember, you don't have colors in the manga, at least back in the days when the colored version was not released yet.
But they did have those special colored versions in Shonen Jump.
But they were like they came out later, I think. So like
Yeah.
when it was like released in the Jump for the very first time, you couldn't like detect anything by color.
so that means the anime only people, when they first saw Doppio, like, oh, there he is. There's my
Yeah,
dad.
that's what I thought. I
that's
thought it was
like-
the boss.
Yeah, that's like one thing which is like bad in the anime, because you have colors, and in this case you can like easily detect.
Identify them.
That's why purple Doppio is superior.
It's funny because in PS2 games, Doppio has pink hair, so it makes that transition of Doppio to Diavolo make more sense. Because how can someone just change hair color like that?
Yeah, but also in the PS2 game, both Doppio and Diavolo share the same voice actor.
Yeah.
But I
Hold
think
on.
they did it
How can
really
someone
good in the
change-
anime.
How can someone just change hair color? How can someone just change body type like that?
Yeah,
I
especially
think
Hold
like
on.
anime
Hold on.
logic. So yeah, there's another thing I want to talk about. So in this episode we find out where Diavolo is. And my question goes back again to the anime only viewers. Where did you think would Diavolo hide? Did you had any ideas?
to be honest, I thought it was gonna be Bruno because as Diavolo is so selfish, I thought he would go back to his own body, and that would kind of make sense. And he would try to protect himself. So when he would defeat Silver Chariot Requiem, he would get his own body back instead of getting, I don't know. I thought that was
Well,
I thought it was in Bruno's body or his own body.
yeah, I thought he was in Bruno's body too, but not because of his selfishness. It's just, first of all, I just felt like that, and then when Giorno starts talking about how, well, he must check everybody, like he's trapped and such, and after he points like at Bruno, like King Crimson pops up and says like, shit, I gotta do something. So I thought like this was a dead giveaway, but then it was Trish, so
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like think about it, it's kind of obvious that he isn't Trish. But yeah, I think when I read the manga first, I also thought he was like in Bruno's body, on like in his own body.
Yeah, that's what I first thought, but then Polnareff explained that there's two souls. Because I thought it was a split personality, but it was literally two people. It's pretty interesting.
Turban, can you remember your experience when you read it?
No, I really don't. I remember the reread. I reread it for the anime coming out,
Yeah,
but
I
I
also
don't remember
reread it.
being. I don't remember the initial reaction.
Do you know how many years it has been since you read the part for the first time?
I think 4, 5.
Yeah, so you probably read the bad translation as well, right?
Most likely, yeah.
I think it was because of fan translations, but then it took a while till the official one came out.
the Wank Part 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically the rank part 5. So for anyone who like wasn't born at the right time or like couldn't read it back then, because you haven't been on Earth yet or anything, basically imagine very bad scans, and like it was like scanned from the jump, I think, like directly, like they would just put the book on the scanner and like scan it.
You would have the advertisements on the side.
Yeah, and you have to remember, I think it was like 2011 or 12, so the scanning quality was like pretty bad, and
God, it's been
because technology wasn't like as advanced as it is now, and yeah,
at that point.
everything was like lettered with Comic Sans, and there were only rough translations. They basically paraphrased the events of each speech bubble. And that's what I had to read for, like, when I was reading part 5 at that time.
Oh.
That's not good.
And there was like no good translation.
Especially with JoJo.
Reading was during. I kind of gave up in most reading.
I mean, reading JoJo with bad translation, like the more than half of the whole thing is like explanations. How would you understand any?
And the characters and stands are really confusing as well.
The visuals did not help. Most of the time, when you read a comic and the words aren't making a lot of sense, you can get an idea just from looking at the pictures. JoJo does not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I have to admit that I reread like part 5 for the anime because my memory of part 5 was like almost nothing. I could barely remember anything. And when I read the colored version with a good translation, I felt like I was reading a completely different manga. So yeah, at the end of the episode we have the Requiem arrow. Do you anime only viewers have like any predictions what could be happening in the next episode? Because I like to hear those ideas from anime only viewers.
I think
Well,
what's probably gonna happen is the obvious is, or at least I think the obvious is, Giorno's probably gonna use the Requiem arrow because the concept that big, it has to happen to the main character. So I think that's Giorno's gonna use the arrow and then probably fight Diavolo and stuff.
well, okay. How can I explain it? I'm anime only, but I'm a very heavily spoiled anime only, so I don't even have to guess. Like, I know most things that are gonna happen, so I don't know. Maybe there's something that I have missed. There are gonna be lots of crazy stuff going on.
So Kyo, if you have no idea what's going to happen next, what do you think the arrow will do? If you think Giorno's going to get it, what do you think the arrow
I don't
is
know. It's
capable
probably
of?
it's probably gonna make something like Golden Experience Requiem, like Silver Chariot Requiem. But I don't know. It could backlash on him, just like Silver Chariot did, because it went berserk and it didn't even become it wasn't even a stand anymore. So I wonder how it's gonna go because it could just a Rocky forgot moment could just happen and maybe Golden Experience Requiem would be like a normal stand. But I don't know. I'm interested how it goes out.
You
I
have any
mean,
ideas?
it was it like ever really inquired that piercing yourself with an arrow automatically makes your stand go berserk?
I
It's
don't
pierce
really
your
know.
stand. Pierce your
It
stand,
it
you get a requiem. Pierce yourself, you get a new ability.
I think
it,
it's
mean-
because the Requiem arrow is different from the one that Kira used in part 4.
yeah, because you see that when Diavolo finds them, there's like the one with the beetle, and the one in part 4 has like a little heart on it.
Yeah, but also
But
keep in mind that we have like I think 3 episodes left.
Yes.
yeah,
Jesus. Oh no.
And
maybe
The
yeah,
last 2 episodes are gonna be on 20th of June.
yeah, and the next episode is titled King of Kings.
it'd be interesting if King Crimson got King Crimson Requiem. That'd be pretty cool. Because you don't really see that. It's always like the heroes at the end of the story, they get some kind of advantage.
Well, I
But
mean, part 4, like, you can't really say that, like, the Duane gang got any kind of advantage. It was actually, like, Kira who got buffed up.
yeah, but then they kind of cornered him near like the ambulances and
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah,
but
but it
they,
was
like-
like basically Jotaro who had to have all of his time stopped. They wouldn't have been able to defeat him on his own.
Yeah,
So what do you think of Requiem King Crimson would be then?
I don't know. I think it'll be.
Like,
I think it'll be pretty
what?
interesting.
What hell would King Crimson Requiem be like? Is it a spoiler? Like, did Polnareff say that Requiems are like they have an ability that like you wish for? Like Requiem want like Polnareff wanted to hide the arrow, so Requiem now defends the arrow. Like, so if like Diavolo wants total control over like everything, what would his ability really be?
I think it's interesting because if you look at Silver Chariot, his ability to control souls and whatnot has nothing to do with super accurate, fast sword and stuff. So I think there'll probably be two ways if this King Crimson Requiem thing happens. It'll probably be something to do with his time-stopping ability or another ability completely. But I highly doubt that'll happen.
Again, like, does somebody remember? Did Polnareff say that Requiem like carries on your wish?
I think it just says that it unlocks the potential of your stand, the full potential.
Yeah, I think that's basically it, because we all know that Requiem is overpowered as fuck and not balanced.
But I was wondering one thing, because me and my brother were talking about this, that what if a character just stabs themselves multiple times with the arrow or something, or I don't know, they just activate their hand a bunch of times. What would that even do?
What?
I think if you stab yourself multiple times, it depends, like, if the arrow rejects you or not, and in worst case, you could die.
Yeah. You just die, man.
Yeah, imagine you're trying to power up and then you're just, like, dead. Because the stand arrow is like, nope.
When you eat too many vitamin gummies.
Yeah, think of it like eating too many vitamin gummies. Like if you go too far, it's very bad for you. And in worst case, you might die.
Yeah, that is true.
But if you die from vitamin gummies, you should be very desperate.
That actually happened. Your bones break.
Actually, would that be a good way to kill yourself? Oh,
no, it would be a good way to injure yourself. And
let's not encourage everyone.
Your bones.
Yeah, imagine you go to a funeral to a friend and then they say, yeah, they died because they ate too many vitamin gummies. Like, I think I would probably, like, start to laugh a lot, and then I would,
that's how a real motherfucking G go out.
Yeah, I would be like, what the fuck, he was so stupid, that's so stupid. Like, I would probably, like, visit the grave, and every time I go, like, I would be like, what a stupid way to die.
Leave a jar of vitamin gummies on the grave.
Yeah, right.
Leave a bouquet. Leave a bouquet of vitamin gummies.
What has this turned into? Is this even JoJo anymore?
It was
so bizarre. It is JoJo.
It was a comparison, like, don't take this seriously, but spoiler alert, Jonah's going to die because he ate too many vitamin gummies.
This is amazing.
New Discord meme.
I hope
that's what.
Yeah, I hope
that's what's gonna happen.
I hope nobody goes in the comment section. It's like, what the fuck, you bitch, you spoiled me about the end of part 5. That's not.
John
OG is on gummies.
Diavolo a bunch of vitamins.
That's why he was so anti-drug, because he died of gummy overdose.
Oh no.
I think I'm gonna leave this in the final recording, because for me, like, imagine the final battle is like it's like an eating contest between Jonah and Diavolo, and the one who eats the most vitamin gummies, like, gets the arrow.
Golden experience Requiem feeds gummies to people in
golden experience.
It's vitamin.
It's a truly golden experience.
Well, I mean, we're talking about JoJo here, so anything could happen, and
it's so bizarre enough to be JoJo.
Yeah, I think it could possibly happen in, like, part 8 or stuff.
Part 9.
Yeah, because
it's like vitamin gummy Requiem.
Like, this is not a major spoiler, but in part 8, some characters, I'm not gonna say who it is, they have, like, beetles at home, and, like, stag beetles and stuff. And at one point they, like, have a beetle contest, and they let the beetles battle against each other like they're Pokemon or something. And they're, like, having a beetle contest in part 8.
What?
I am not saying anything.
Let's move on now.
Yeah, so Something that I also want to mention while I look at some screenshots of the episode, there was this one shot with King Crimson and the arrow and this creepy smile.
Oh, like the
I
happy.
think this was bad animation. Like I felt like King Crimson was very out of place.
I think it's just
Happy
because
Crimson.
you're so used to seeing King Crimson's mouth is so angry. It's weird to see him smile. And I think because it's hard to draw King Crimson's smile without it looking awkward.
Yeah, when I like the scene completely catch me off guard, and
Yeah.
this picture will probably haunt me in my dreams. But it's like so creepy. I even thought of doing a meme with it, but like it was like, no, I can't do this. This is too creepy.
I can't sit. I can't stand to look at editing this for how many hours.
Oh, that reference, that pun.
Oh, was that a pun?
Yeah,
Was
he
that a
said.
JoJo reference?
Cripple gang.
Nah, he said I can't stand, and you know. Yeah, I should start.
Slipped it right past these boys.
But part 7, man.
Yeah, but
Okay.
let's stay on the topic again.
We don't want any
Yeah.
spoilers.
So at the end, we see Diavolo donating Trish. Do you
Yeah.
By the
have
way,
any?
about that,
Do you have any prediction what could happen?
I don't think more deaths will happen because there's been so many deaths that I don't think it can undermine.
Okay, I want to make some funny remarks, but I'm gonna like stay away from spoilers.
Yeah,
Because
don't be like Turban. For everyone who doesn't know, in the last podcast we had to like cut off like 10 minutes because Turban was like basically spoiling the entire ending of part 5.
You don't have to be mean
But-
about it.
Yeah, we had to cut off like
Shame.
we were discussing normally, and then he was like, "Hey, doesn't this happen at the end?" And I was like, "Dude, you just spoiled the entire ending."
Lol.
And then
But, like-
I had to use King Crimson's power, and yeah, it never happened.
Yes, that's good. I mean, while
Why
I
are we
can't
talking
say...
about it then?
Oh, come on. Like, I can't say anything about the future events, but Happy Crimson, that is something that really got me. Like, it's not even that it's like I'm not used to it, but it's so unsettling. Like, there are only 3 times, and the first time when he's like sitting behind them in the shadows, it's so creepy. Like, I'm just sitting there. What the hell is this? Those are like cursed images.
Yeah, I don't even know if this was in the manga because I can't remember that.
The part where they were running in the hall and the
No,
like
where
happy
they're on
King
the
Crimson.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're on the street and he crouches behind.
Yeah, and when he's holding
Or when
the
he gets
arrow.
the arrow.
Yeah, I have the picture
I mean, the first one.
in front of me. I might put it in the stream at this timestamp, but I don't know if I'm gonna put it because I don't want anyone to be haunted by this picture. But
Yeah, like,
this has like
I
so
would like
much
you to
meme
do-
potential.
it's not the when he gets the arrow. It's when the like episodes only starts. Like he sits there with his huge.
Yeah, also some random fact. When they all try to run to the hallway, in the manga you can actually see King Crimson in the back behind Mister's body. But they
Yeah.
exclude
Yeah.
that in the anime because it would be more obvious. Like in the manga panel, it's like barely noticeable when you don't realize it. But they
And it'll
kind
be
of
a-
hinted at that in the manga.
Be a lot of animation as well.
But it's not only that, but I think his head like just popping out of the like darkness. It's creepy and funny at the same time. So I think that just worked out.
Yeah, so does any one of you want to add anything about the episode?
No, not really.
Well, I don't know. I wish it was better on the like topic of derp faces. Like they really messed up the experience. Like there was a lot of good moments. Like again, the voice actors, the like I don't know what it is it about it. I like the Jordan snap very much in the end.
Yeah.
It's just that. And the part with the light behind, like your mind really, like I wasn't really paying attention to anything that was going on. I like kind of was going with it, looking, and then I just understand. Wait, what the hell did he do again? And I watched it multiple times to just get used to this kind of weirdness.
And also, a funny part was when Giorno posed and his hair looked like it was flowing, probably because of the manga.
Yeah,
then-
it wasn't the manga, but it seemed so like out of place.
Yeah, and then when he was
Yeah.
moving, it was still like stuck in frame.
Everybody in the live stream of that was freaking out.
Yeah, like it seems like it was kind of it was bootleg Jordan.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
Jorno's Golden Saiyan experience Requiem.
but I also have to admit that I didn't understood like the part with the light behind your mind and something. I don't even know if that was in the manga.
No, that
yeah,
was in the
it
manga.
was.
And it was just as confusing. I still don't know what it means.
Yeah,
Was it-
I also don't know what it means. I'm like confused by that.
Was it part of Silver Chariot Requiem or?
It's
I
a
don't-
part of
It's
I think it was
kind
like your soul has a light in the back of its head. It's
What? So then
it's
if
like I think it came from religious imagery. I think it came
If-
from like
if-
Araki went to Italy, saw all of the halos and everything from like Madonnas or Pietas, and went,
yeah,
that seems like a cool concept to add to my bizarre adventure.
and if King Crimson destroyed it, doesn't that mean he destroyed part of his soul? If that is the
think-
case.
Ah, yeah,
you know
I don't know.
it
I don't
sounds
know.
like if you don't go into much depth, it's kind of understandable. He just hit the light behind his head. Like, okay, that worked, but
Yeah, but what is the light?
Well, I
why?
feel like
What
it's
is this?
kind of admitting like you have sinned. Like you have to realize that there is the light, and as soon as you realize, you can like destroy it with your mind. I think it's kind of like that. But I don't know what like Araki's overdosing on when he was writing part 5, but it must have been some very nice stuff.
And
I have to
also,
be circumcised to be a stand user.
Imagine.
and also
Aw.
part 5 was inspired a lot by religion as well. If you notice, Giorno's name means son, and there's like Dio means God. Giorno's kind of like Jesus Christ in a way.
Diavolo.
Yeah.
So then in the ending, you
Diavolo.
see like Golden Experience doing the cross and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you also see he has like those 3 donut holes, or however you want to call them, in his hair.
Yeah.
And
He is the Trinity.
yeah, it's like representing the Trinity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I
wait.
don't know what Araki is overdosing on, but I want that stuff.
Catholicism.
Yeah, I wonder if he was like staying up late, and then I saw an interview of him once, and he has like a shit ton of books on his shelves, like everything for reference.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he's sometimes just like browsing his books and like finding a book he randomly bought and like he never used it, and he's like reading it, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna put that into my story.
I mean,
It's like
that worked
he-
out in the end.
He does
got drunk
whatever
on
he
some communion
wants.
wine.
Yeah, also random fact, he has like I think he has a CD for every music reference.
Yeah. I saw a bunch of those.
Yeah, he has like a CD collection of all the songs that he uses for JoJo and stuff, and
Yeah.
I think he even listens to these songs and when he writes the arcs for them.
He's
pretty
very proud
cool.
of Doggy style.
Yeah, because for some stands, for example, like Sabbath, if you listen to the corresponding song, you can like realize that he used this song to get inspired. Like, for example, Black Sabbath, the song Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. Oh, the irony. I think it starts with Figure in Black, which points at me, and yeah, you know how Black Sabbath looks like, so.
And also something else really cool, when before all the Metallica stuff, and we saw King Crimson, I started listening to some King Crimson songs, and I started listening to the Epitaph one. And when
it's literally about King.
Yeah, and then when I saw it in the anime, I was like, oh yes. It was pretty cool understanding where the songs come from.
Yeah, the funny thing also is, sorry for drifting away, but I want to mention this. Every time a new stand gets revealed in part 8, the comment section of that band or that song is like immediately claimed by JoJo
Yeah.
fans. Like, I'm not gonna say any names, but there was a new stand recently in part 8, and I checked out the song on YouTube, and the whole comment section was like, hey, is anyone here from JoJo? Or people were like, sorry boys, this is now claimed by JoJo fans. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's not only on part.
Yeah, for example, it was the case with Freaking You and Modern Crusaders as well. Everyone was like, sorry boys, this is JoJo now.
And even
it's all JoJo now.
I wonder if someone has ever started JoJo because they were just trying to listen to music on YouTube, and then they're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, also when Narendra died, the Aerosmith song I used for my AMV was like full of rest in peace Narendra commentaries. Yeah, imagine you're a fan of Aerosmith and you listen to the song and then everyone is like rest in peace Narendra and everyone's like, what the fuck is going on?
Who's no answer?
Right.
Yeah, so we're nearly at the end. Does anyone want to add anything to the episode?
Well, I don't think so. I guess this is
No,
all
not really.
about.
So nothing?
We have mentioned everything. Well, looking at my notes, no, I don't think.
Well, because this was basically this episode only had like 2 major events, so we're probably going to talk longer about the next one.
Yeah.
Turban, are you mentally prepared?
And then there's gonna be like a 3-hour podcast on the double episode.
I've already asked off work for the next week's episode because I know it's going to.
Does anyone know if the episode is going to be 1 hour long, or is it going to be
The
2
last
separate
one.
episodes?
The last episode.
Yeah, the last episode is our.
I don't even know if it's
okay.
like I think like episode 39 is like normal size, and then I think it's the week after, but the special airs on Sunday instead of on Friday.
Yeah.
But I think it's like it airs on like Sunday in Japan, but it's like Saturday in most of the world. I don't know about the time slot right now, but I feel like the 1 hour special is like a recap of the entire part 5. Because I think that they maybe got like broadcast rights for like 42 episodes, and they had to like put it, because I think it's highly unlikely that they like animate new stuff for 1 hour, and it's very common in Japanese TV shows that special means recap or something. I think it's even like written with the same kanji, but I need to check on that. I don't want to make a confirmation on that, but it's like very likely that they do a recap of entire part 5. Because
if I saw it right, it is gonna be on 5th of July, and then there's gonna be a 3-week break. And then the next episode is only gonna be on 28th.
Wait, is there a 3-week break? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I need to check on that, but like I know that the next episode is like next week.
Yeah. So is the next episode coming out, and then
I don't
still
know
break?
about that, but like they announce breaks usually, but it wouldn't make sense to call a break after that.
Yeah, have to wait and see.
Yeah, but like it would be stupid to make a break after next week's episode because the next episode is like very, very, very important, and it's like
Yeah,
it's so
you can
important.
tell too.
It's so important that Turban like called off work. Yeah, but
I actually could check it right now.
yeah, like the bad thing is I have late shift on Friday, but I will be home in time for JoJo. But I don't know yet if I have to work on Saturday. But I think if I have to work on Saturday, I might like call sick because yeah, that episode is like I don't know how to say it, but like manga readers will understand.
Even seeing it, you can tell something is important is gonna happen.
Yeah,
I think it's the way they set it up with Gianna not saying anything as well, with
yeah,
like
and
the arrow coming in.
keep in mind the episode is called King of Kings.
Yeah.
So yeah, does anyone want to add anything because we're nearly hitting 1 hour now?
Nope.
Well, I think this is a good point to end the podcast.
Yeah.
Alright then, thanks everyone for tuning in to our podcast. We will also do one next time. If you're interested in participating, you can DM me or any of the moderators on Discord. And yeah, see you next time.